Hi guys. Today we are going to discuss on something else storage level. So yesterday I told that whenever I create a database, two files will be created. One is MDF file and another one is LDF file. And you can create one more file that is a secondary data file. Now in case whenever you are trying to create a table or whenever you're trying to update the data or insert the data, how data is storing in that file, how data is storing in that file means MDF file. SQL is storing the data basically just for your understanding. So basically SQL server data will be stored in the form of pages. So when you are open Word document, Word document, this is my Word document because this also Microsoft SQL Server, right? See, whenever open Word document, in top header is there, and bottom we will get footer. In SQL also you can see same header and footer. And so whenever you are trying to where actual data is expose in the form of pages, SQL store your data in the form of 8 KB. Every page size 8 KB and 8 kilobytes. Can I increase page size? No, right? It's a fixed size. Your page size will be fixed size. You cannot increase your page size. Your page size will be 8 KB. So your page contain header session and your page contain footer session and your page contain actual data rows also, and means actual where the data will be stored in the format here. Once you are place that page id will get it, page id, and what kind of data will be stored in the header means page id and object id, and how much free space is available, and what is the next page, what is the previous page, and what is number of slots are available. And your page header will contains the history information about your page and how much free space is available, how what is the next page, what is the previous page, along with your slot also getting slots. And slots are nothing but how many records are available, means how many rows are available in the page. Contain that it contains the page header. Your page header size will be 96 bytes out of 8 KB. Even page header will contain 96 bytes. What information will maintain in the header? Page ID, object ID, and next page, previous page, how much free space is available, and how much current consumed, how much out of 8 KB, how much consumed, and how much is free, how much is consumed, how much is free. Very important parameter. Slots are nothing but how many records are available. Okay, how many rows are available, that information will maintain in the by the header. And also page footer will be available. In page footer size will be 2 bytes. Whenever you are trying to the data or update the data and delete the data, it will try it will it will directly enter from the footer, and it will write the data rows. And actually this is your body, this is your data body, this is actually your data body. Actually this is your data body, this is actually your data body. Here data like one, suppose ram 5000, second rajesh 10,000, number third sam 15,000. So whatever your data you're trying to insert, okay, is insert or update or delete on that respect to the table, sir. And it will store the data rows, right? This portion will call it is data rows, and this portion will call footer, and top position will call header. Actually your data is residing in the data rows. which is size 8032. You can compare all that is nothing but 8 KB. Your page will be 8 kilobytes, right? Whatever you are inserting the data, and it will move to you. It will move from the footer, and your footer will maintain the bit values, and how what is a record ID, and it will make it by the footer. Your record ID and row ID will maintain by the footer, because on which object which is called whatever who have entered, right, the ID information will maintain by the footer. So if someone is asking how SQL storing the data, we need to tell SQL store the data in the form of pages. Each page size 8 KB, and page header, page footer, and data rows, and page header will maintain 96 bytes, page footer will maintain 2 bytes, and remaining will be your data rows 8036 or 8032 bytes is nothing but your data rows. So the record is moving from the footer to actual data. So it is writing, sir. So how data is into phase from the footer, and your footer will maintain the IDs or which objects which record you have moved to the respective database, right? That information will maintain by the footer. So header will maintain the history of our page, like page ID, object type, and also index ID, and also maintain the free space and available space will maintain, and how it is slots are available, all the information, and also buffer information will also maintain by the header. And there is now get the page level information. We have three commands: dbcc ind, dbcc trace on 3604, and dbcc page. But these are undocumented commands. Okay, it is not making any harmful to the SQL server. But as for Microsoft, this telling that these are undocumented, and there are nowhere you can find any MSDN block related to this. These are undocumented commands. Is not making any harmful to the SQL server. As for Microsoft, this telling that these are undocumented, and there is nowhere you can find the MSDN block related to this. Please be careful, but I don't. But it don't make any harmful to SQL server. You can run it, sir, but you can run it, but for everyone information, this is undocumented comments. Let me open SSMS. So you'll get around 2 pages, right? In all, the table contains 400 plus pages. All the pages contain 400 pages. All are page IDs, right? You want to see any one of, you can pick any one page ID. You can pick any one the page, and that means what we'll see. And I'm picking 440. No, I want to see the what data is available. So before you enable DBCC, before you need to enable page DBCC page, and you need to enable trace on before that. Otherwise, you cannot get any data. Now you need to run this combination. Just run it, and your header will be maintain buffer information, and your header maintain slots, your header maintaining slots, and how many slots are available, and what is previous page, and what is next page, and how much free space is available, and how much is allocated, and what is object ID. You will get complete information in header session, right? So this is our header. You will get whatever I discussed just now, right? Next page, previous page, how many slots are available, and how much data is consumed, what is object level. Okay, we'll get complete information in the page header, and slot information also, and slot 0, slot 1, slot 2, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4. How many slots are available means how many data rows available in that page. Okay, you will get, you can get the number of slots. Assume you are having 10 records. Okay, you will get 10 slots. Your slot start with 0. if you have to discuss all these concepts, I want to show you, okay, before, so that you can add as an our page contain whatever you are trying to insert or update or data will store the footer, right? You need to say page level. Whenever page is corrupted, you need to start verify that, okay, what data is available, how many records are available. So in case you perform dbcc check db repair, all the data are lost. If you are unable to fix that, it will completely erase the pages. I will come up with this concept now, but advanced level. But still, okay, try to avoid this commands in production server. Something happen. I want to run means you can run it. You can go and run it. But simply to validate means don't run this one in production box. You are telling that go and search Google. You can go and search in Google how to use DBCC page. Is there any? Are you getting any Microsoft block? This is only community block. Main MSDN block is not available because these three commands are undocumented. So here also same. They used clear information. Here also they mention. So here also same. They used clear information. You can go for this one. Make it for your reference as well. For your better understanding, whenever we have corruption over the database, corrupted pages got corrupted, and only mostly you can go and you can go to the field level and the remaining times. In that case, your database size is some GBs. Assume that your page size 8 KB. Now think about how many pages will be maintained for a single table. So that's what we're going to discuss now. For your understanding, in SQL Server, data will store in the form of pages, right? That's what here also I mentioned. That's what here also I mentioned. Okay, page header and page footer. Technically, you can call it is as a page footer, or technically you can call it is as a raw set of information. Information about the rows will be maintained by the footer, and your footer size is the 2 bytes. Header size will be 96 bytes. By remaining will be your data rows from SQL Server 2012 onwards. Something has been changed, and what is changed I will explain to you in advanced level, because SQL Server 2012 who already working on them. So Microsoft introduced column store index. Whenever you create the column store index in the data row session, you will get only single column information, not entire row information. That structure will be changed. No worries. We are going to discuss that concept in advanced level. For just for info, see there is concept called extension. Don't confuse. Most of the people getting confused here only. Your data is storing in the database, right? See, there is a one concept called extend. Don't confuse. Most of the people get confused here only. Your data is storing in the page, right? Database. 8 continuous consecutive pages will called extent, will cause one extent. So what is extent? Eight continuous consecutive page, eight continuous consecutive pages, data pages will call it as one extent, right? What is the extent size? 64 KB. Actually our page is 8 KB. 8 into 8 equal to extent size will be 64 kilobytes. What is extent, sir? Consecutive continuous 8 data pages will call it as one extent. Your extent size will be 16 KB, and we have two types of extents in SQL Server. One is uniform extent, and another one is mixed extent. Uniform extent means if 8 pages contain the same object data, then you need to call it as a uniform extent. If 8 pages contain the different object data, then you need to call it is a mixed extent. Most of the people will get confused on this concept. To clarify them, let me go for page. What is hierarchy? It will follow your application will connect to the SQL server. What you are going to do, you are going to create database. When you are going to create database, data files will create, right? So what files will be created? One is MDF, LDF, NDF files will be creating on the on that file. On that files extents will be available. On that extents data will be available. Extents will be available with that will be various available in that page. Your data will be available. This is hierarchy now, but you got better idea, sir. But again extends nothing but 8 continuous pages. When you will go for fragmentation, you are performing on the rebuild or reorganization. Definitely it will arrange the pages, right? It will arrange the data. So defragmentation is nothing but is either you are arranging the data pages or you removing the space on the pages. When actual fragmentation will start, sir, either you will perform insert, you will perform delete, because whenever inserting 10 billion records, your pages will increase, right? Increase, and your order may mismatch, and in backend full your order may mismatch. If you are performing 10 billion records, if you are performing 10 billion records delete operation, you are deleting 10 billion records, and what will happen? That will data will be available in the pages. It is not removed, sir. When it will remove, perform the defragmentation, space will be released from the disk. Until unless hold on the space, no worry. Again we have index section. When you created data files will be created. When you on the files, there are extension. On extension, there are data pages. On data pages will be stored in data. On the data pages, there are data will be stored, right, in SQL Server. We have different types of pages. Okay, and what we have 10 pages available in SQL Server, and data page, GAM page, SGAM page, EFS page, and DCM page, and BCM page, and index page, boot page, text page, image page. But data page will contain the actual data. Data page will contain the actual data. So main your data will be stored in the data pages. Then what about the remaining pages? Okay, let me discuss first PFS page. Your data will be stored in the data page, right? Okay, now let me discuss about PFS page first. Then we will go for one by one. PFS page nothing but space. When you are trying to create table, when you are trying to insert the data or update the data, delete the data, how SQL Server is tracking SQL service on that specific object. Once I'm having employee table, I'm having department table, I'm having customer table, I'm having a sales table, I'm having a address table, I'm having different object. Each object maintain their respective data, right? So employee will maintain employee data, department will maintain department related data, and the customer will maintain customer related data, sales will maintain sales related data, and address will maintain address related data. So we have different objects. There are respective data is storing, right? But in this object, assume I'm having 1 million records. How SQL Server is tracking? How many data pages are available from that object, and how much free space is available in each data page? How SQL Server is tracking? PFS page, right? Your PFS page will track on how much, on which object, which data page, and how much free space are available. Each data page free space is available. By default, try to understand every data page will maintain how much free space is available in the header session. You remember or not? I already shown you header session will maintain how much free space is available in the database. What about PFS page? PFS page will track how much free space is available every database. Every database, how much free space is available will track by the PFS page. PFS page records all the allocated status of each pages whether and individual pages has been allocated and amount of free space on each page, how much free space available, that keep on tracking by PFS phase in the form of percentage. In the form of percentage, 1 to 50% and 51 to 80, 81 to 95 and 100%. So in the form of percentage, your PFS pages keep on tracking. I'm going to just PFS page will contain the will contain the metadata related to every database free space information. Most of the people getting confused about these two pages. Try to understand the logic. Okay. Try to understand these two pages. GAM page and SGAM page. Global allocation map and shared global allocation map. One GAM page size is 4 GB. Your GAM page will maintain the 64,000 extents information. You are creating one table, employee table. On that you need to extend. So from where it will get it, the extents means from GAM phase you will get to one extent. You are having 64,000 extents. Assume you are creating table for this table. You need 5 extents, right? When I taken 5 extents from GAM page, now 63,995, right? Extents will be available, right? When you need 5 extents, when it I taken for 5 extents from GAM page. Now 63,995 extents will be available. When you are trying to insert the data and you required extents. So now the all the extents are extents allocation will be getting from the GAM page. How the extents allocation is occurring from the GAM page? From the GAM page is extends the allocation will be occurs. Your GAM page is just 4 GB, but you are telling my GAM page 4 GB, but your database size very small. How can I accept when I go and verify database size? Let me open SSMS. Let me verify my database size. When I go for the when I go on the verify the database size, just 16 MB my database, right? When you create a database directly, it will not allocate 4 GB for GAM page. When you start creating the data, which you start inserting the data, so it will start increasing. It will grow up to 4 GB. Once you are complete the 64 GB, create one more GAM page. Again, that GAM page is also complete. It will create one more GAM page. That page will create again one more GAM page directly. It is not allocating 4 GB for your database. When you start inserting, when you start creating, so it will grow up to 4 GB, which contain 64 extents information. All your extents allocation will coming from the GAM page only. Again, I told you, sir, first 4 days headache sessions, you need to bear with me. Okay. If you want to become more stronger, I can understand the pain of us very hectic concept. I'm trying my best to understand you. GAM phase will contain the extent allocation information. Whenever you are creating the table, when you need to some extent, so from where it will get that from GAM page, right? And it will take and it will start loading the data. Now every GAM page will maintain the bit values. One bit for each extent in the interval is covered, sir. If the bit is 1, the extent is free. If the bit is 0, bit value is 0. If bit value is 0, if bit value is 1, your extent is free. If bit is 0, the extent is allocated. For 6400, it will maintain the bit value, right? 101010 means already allocated. It is in being used. One is it is in free. Once your completely GAM page is consumed, it will create one more GAM page. That GAM page is also 4 GB and contains the 64 extents, that is extension allocation information. Now, how I can conclude whether that extents is completely conclude with the data, or is that extents contain any free space information? There is one more GAM page is nothing but SGAM, shared global allocation map will contain the whether your extension having any free space or not. SGAM is also 4 GB and for 64,000 extents information. Metadata information, it is not allocation. Your allocation will be comes from the GAM only. Your allocation will whenever you are creating table, inserting the data, whenever require the complete allocation, you will get it from the GAM page, sir. But on that GAM page also 4 GB, right? Your SGAM page also 4 GB, which contains 64,000. But your SGAM page will maintain only metadata, whether it is a mixed extent or uniform extent. If that extent is having any free space, that is information will maintain by the SGAM only. Just for information will maintain by the SGAM. See SGAM having bit value. Also, if bit value 1 means the extent being used as a mixed extent and as the free space. If the SGAM value will be 1 on SGAM, the extent value is 1 SGAM point of view. It is a mixed extent and having some free space in that extent. To get the understandable, sir. Now, if the bit value is 0, the extent is not used as a mixed extents or it is a mixed extents. All the pages has been used to see how the Microsoft is maintaining. If the value is 0, it is not in mixed extent. Completely it is consumed with the data, means completely 8 pages has been consumed. There is no free space. That will be maintained by the SGAM. DCM page. DCM page, I'm not discussing anything today. Just hold on for the backup session, sir. When we are discussing backup, I will explain very clearly with the practical. I will show you DCM page as well because that is very very important. I feel that DCM page is important for us because from SQL Server 2000 onwards, Microsoft came up with smart differential backup. You know that you know about who already working. Okay, there is insert there is a insert interesting demo where I made for a differential backup. We'll discuss on the backup sessions. I'm not discussing about anything about DCM page. BCM page also I'm not discussing today. I'm going to explain in recovery models. When we are discussing recovery models, I will explain you about the DCM page. These two pages you can ignore as of now, and one more page also ignore IAM, and one more page also ignore about IAM page. Your backup, differential backup will track the extent that has been modified after full backup. Differential backup will track the extents that has been modified after full backup. First of all, we don't know about what is full backup. If I'm explaining, no one can understand. It don't make any sense of for everyone. That's why ignoring DCM page, BCM page, and IM page. So as of now, this we are discussing recovery page model session. When you are discussing backup session and when you are discussing index session, I will show you this is very concept. So this is your IAM page. No worries. What see all your pages in the information is maintaining IAM page ID, and whatever the pages you are maintaining on that expect to the tables all pages is tracking IAM page. So these three pages DCM, BCM, IAM, no worries. What see all your pages in the information is maintaining IAM page ID, and whatever the pages you are maintaining on that expect to the tables all pages is tracking IAM page. So these three pages DCM, BCM, IAM. So DCM is also explained in differential backup session, and BCM is available explained in the recovery model sessions. IAM page will explain the index session. Mostly 2 pages it will cover in this in this session. Yesterday I told you, right, little bit boot page, and boot page will be available on the MDF file or primary data file. When you creating a database, so you are going to create MDF file, right? That MDF will maintain in the boot space. No other MDF file will also maintain. What is the difference between MDF and NDF? You can tell MDF will maintain, it is the boot page. NDF is also maintaining any boot page. Boot page contains complete metadata related your database, and database name, database file, file size, and database file group, database file location. When you are trying to perform insert and updated or delete some concentrate support, so first we'll go to the data cache, and it will verify any pages are available, any free space is available on that respective object in the data cache. It will verify, it will currently no data is available, no pages is available. Okay, what exactly it will do, right? It will get the data from the MDF file. So how it will get the data from the SGAM? It will get the extents, and the extents will be stored in the data cache. Whenever the pages are copying from the GAM page and making in the data cache, it's not at executed. If not executed, so run one query. It need to make everything ready. CPU need to ready, memory need to ready, pages need to ready. So everything need to be ready. Otherwise, how it will be execute simply? It cannot execute, right? Simply everything need to be ready. What are the things are CPU, memory, pages need to be ready in the data cache. If pages are not ready, it won't execute. It will still copy into pages from the MDF file. This much of data I am inserting, pages are required. It is trying to get the into the data from the MDF file, and it will place that in data cache. If I'm having enough RAM, first I'm copying to all the pages to data cache. Still not yet executed. I'm not executed anything. I just copied that pages from the where from MDF to data cache. Those pages will call clean pages. See, we have clean pages, right? I'm having enough RAM. First, I'm copying to all the pages to the data cache. Still not executed. I'm not executed anything. I just copied that pages from the where from MDF to the data cache. Those pages will be called clean pages. See, when you have clean pages, what is the clean page? The pages has been copied from the MDF to the buffer, not yet modified. The pages are not yet modified. Those pages will call it as clean page. So pages are ready, CPU is ready, memory is already ready. Then it will start inserting the data. When it will start inserting the data into the page, then it will start inserting the data into the page. Then page will called as a 30 pages. When it will start inserting the data into the data page, then when it will start the data into pages, then these pages will called as a 30 pages. These pages convert into 30 pages. Before modify, we are calling as a clean page. After modify, we are calling as a 30 pages, which is modified but not moved to the MDF file. Those pages will called as a 30 pages. The page which is modified the buffer but not yet modified to the MDF, those files called as a 30 pages. Before I start inserting and updating or deleting, so to make ready the pages are copying from MDF to the data cache, so these pages will called as a clean pages. First, SQL Server tries to allocate the pages in the buffer cache. If does not find the pages, SQL Server get the pages from the disk. Disk means that is MDF for LDF to the buffer cache. This is known as clean page. What is clean page? Try to understand. the logic before it start. Try to understand the logic before it start. Inserting, updating, deleting. It will copy the pages available in the data cache. Those pages will called a clean page. Once it will start modify the data, then those pages will call dirty pages. What kind of log is SQL to place? See SQL Server will acquires a log in the page row level. Perform the update statement means, and SQL Server will place a blocks. So whenever we are discussing blocking, deadlock, and ISO level, there are high concept, so that information we can get it from the DMB. So that information we can get it from the DMB, and this is the DMB. You can get it from the DMB dynamic management view system. Sys.dm underscore os underscore buffer underscore descriptors. This is a DMV. When you can get the 30 page level information and clean page information, when you start to run this command, when you run this command, you will get complete information about 30 pages, right? Get tempdb, so having 30 pages, model tempdb having 54 30 pages, and testdb 30 pages. Remaining database, no 30 pages, right? I'm not having any 30 pages on the buffer. So we will get 30 pages information. How many 30 pages are available in buffer with help of DMVs? The page which modified but not moved to MDF. Let me create one table. Create table sales ID, interior, sales name, varchar 20, and go insert into sales. See, I'm trying to create one table. I'm trying to insert the data. Now 30 pages increase, right? 17 30 pages are available. I just created one table. I inserted only one record. Whenever you create a table, it will get some extents from the GAM page. Okay. Extents contain 8 pages, right? So that's what backend metadata is available storing in the buffer. Even you will also get a lot of doubts, but I want to do present to you. I don't want to make any confuse you people. So your starts modified data. So 30 pages keep on increasing. Once the data is moved to the database, again 30 pages will go to the clean page. Now I'm telling this is 30 pages. Once you start modify the data, want to start modify the data, it is calling as a 30 pages. Once move to the MDF file, 30 pages will convert into the clean page, will be available on the buffer itself. It won't fuzzer. Okay, again page will convert into clean page. The mechanism, clean page will go to 30 pages, 30 pages will go to 30 pages will go to clean pages. It's round robin way. Don't call it is round robin way, because you are getting data from MDA pages are not available. That is how Microsoft is working in the backends. Clean page and 30 pages. Very, very important when you say that attending to Microsoft interviews. When you are attending Microsoft interviews, they are accepting this kind of questions. So out of that, you are already discussed about two questions. Third question, checkpoint. What is checkpoint? Who already working? Checkpoint is absolutely, checkpoint is a background process. This is a background process. Lazy writer is a background process. So all these are background processors. Okay. When you go to run one command, p underscore who2. These are all background process. You will never kill the process. You are not authorized to kill the background process. You never have authorization to kill the background processes. Checkpoint is also background process. Lazy writer also background processor. It's keep on running. Now that is the simple terms of both are background process, and what exactly checkpoint will do, what exactly lazy writer will do, what is the difference between checkpoint and lazy writer. First point, both are background process and which are keep on running. you cannot kill the process. Now what is a checkpoint? Checkpoint is a system process. What is checkpoint? Checkpoint is a system process, system background process, which is continuously auditing, which is continuously auditing the buffer. How much of changes you hope, how many changes you made on the buffer, made the threshold values. These are no fixed threshold. Microsoft is telling this is how much threshold you can reach. Checkpoint will trigger when, as per Microsoft threshold, once it will reach the threshold values. Assume you, for example, 100% is buffer, 80% of if is cross rate changes, then it will trigger the checkpoint. We have different types of checkpoint: automatic, indirect, and manual internal checkpoints. There are four types. How will types of four types of checkpoints they are available? Automatic checkpoint and indirect checkpoint, manual checkpoint, internal checkpoint. So forgot about these three. Mainly focus on the automatic checkpoint. So these three, this is automatic checkpoints. When automatic will check the point will triggers, means whenever it is reaches the threshold value, the changes you made on the buffer, whenever it is reaches the threshold value, automatically checkpoint will triggers. And whenever checkpoint triggers, whenever the dirty pages are available in the data cache, whatever the log records are available in the log file, both will move to the data MDF. Both are same only. Whatever data is available with the buffer, same data will move to the log file. Whatever changes you are performing the buffer parallelly, it is moved to the LDF files. To maintain durability, what is Microsoft is doing? There is demo. Select star from FNTB logs. You can track the information. What changes you made in the log file? What you mean changes you perform? But what is insert? What is update or delete? Everything will written in the log file. You can track. Forgot about that concept. Whenever checkpoint triggers, it writes all the dirty pages available in the buffer on the transaction log records into the disk. uh, Actually, there is four types of checkpoints. No, this is automatic checkpoint. It is a background process in SQL Server. It is a default checkpoint for enter instance level. So SQL Server is continuously checking the number of log records, and once it is estimate that this number of log records is sufficient to the process in the time interval, and once it is estimated that this is a number of log records to sufficient process in the time intervals, you can specify your automatic trigger by default. The time value will be 0, sir. By default, the value will be 0. Don't tell what is automatic checkpoint for on 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. So when you go for blocks, you will get this kind of answers. Don't rely on that answers. So when automatic checkpoint will triggers, when it will estimate that sufficient to trigger the checkpoint, it will trigger the checkpoint. Whatever the log have been modified, it sufficient value automatically that is starting automatic check, but mostly ever change fund interval values. I am telling, sir, don't touch the checkpoint interval time, because you are changing checkpoint interval time, right? It will impact recovery phase. You understand? Okay, checkpoint will impact the recovery phase. Make sure that follow the best practice. Don't prefer to change check interval types. It will impact your recovery phase. This is about automatic checkpoints. Happen every minute, right? If you are suspending certain time, so it will we not specify, it will follow us. That is what I mentioned here. Time specified for recovery and recovery intervals configuration option. It will also verify your configuration option, and it will also verify your configuration. and it will verify the threshold and it will trigger the checkpoints because it is a background process, right? When we can control the checkpoint, you can control the checkpoint when you trigger the checkpoint. And now when you go to internal checkpoint, sir, internal checkpoint, when interval checkpoint will triggers, right? When you are performing certain activities like backups and snapshot and checkdb, simple recovery model, switching the recovery models, and internal checkpoints will be trigger. It is not a flush. It is not doing anything, sir, to maintain certain activities. So Microsoft came up with one concept called internal checkpoint. When you performing certain activities, internal checkpoint will be trigger. It will explain in the backup session. I will explain in backup session. I will explain couple of things in recovery model also, and also I will explain couple of things. Then you will get better idea how the internal checkpoint is helping to you, in what scenarios internal checkpoint will triggers, in what scenarios internal checkpoints will help us. Manual checkpoint is nothing but just you can go and you can type checkpoint. How the internal checkpoint helping to you? In what scenarios internal checkpoint will triggers? In what scenarios internal checkpoint will help us? Manual checkpoint is nothing but just to go and here and you can run type checkpoint. Point you can trigger, sir. It's is in a database. I want to trigger choose database, and you can export the about manual checkpoint. Sometimes your log file will grow due to checkpoint. Sometimes your log file will grow due to checkpoints, because checkpoint is not trigger and your log file is reaching threshold value. In that cases, I want to trigger checkpoints, and the time you are get manually trigger the checkpoint, and you want data quickly, you want to see your data is quickly, you can also trigger a checkpoint. See what will happen, you trigger the checkpoint. So database, whenever modification you are doing, that is moving to the mdf. If you want to receive data very quickly, then you can trigger by the manual checkpoint. If you want to receive data very quickly, then we can trigger by manual checkpoint. Indirect checkpoint is introduced from SQL Server 2012 onwards. Some of the application team who already working, sir, some of the application team very irritated to you very much. I want my data like this. I want to my own checkpoint interval time. They may come up with, sir. So Microsoft came up SQL Server 2012 onwards. Checkpoint is the instance level feature. Checkpoint is the instance level feature, but indirect checkpoint is the database level on specific database. I want to change my interval time. I don't want to instance level database. I want to change my interval time only to my database. I want to change the interval time of checkpoint. You can do from the SQL Server 2012 onwards with the indirect checkpoint concept. If you want to change checkpoint interval time for my specific database, you can do it in from SQL Server 2012 onwards. That concept you are calling indirect checkpoint to change the checkpoint interval time for the specific database. So if you want to change your interval, if you want to do verify the interval of the databases, you can run this command. We are going to discuss in after, maybe after tomorrow. We are going to discuss what are the couple of catalog tables and what will help us. Okay, databases. That is one main table or which are contain your database information. Okay, so let me run lot of columns information. I just want to point interval time for my specific database. You can do it from SQL Server 2012 onwards. That concept you are calling as a indirect point. to change the checkpoint interval time for a specific database. If you want to change this one interval, if you want to do verify the interval of my databases, you can run. Select name and target recovery time in seconds from sys.databases where name is called adventure works 2014. Very important table in the master database system databases. We are going to discuss in after May. Tomorrow we are going to discuss after some of the sessions. We are going to couple of catalog tables will it will help us to lot. Okay, sys databases, that is one of the main table or which will contains your database information. Microsoft come up with the concept called database scope configuration. You know, I'm not sure. Okay, Microsoft came up with the concept called a database scope configuration. You can set properties at DB level. Okay, as I promise, I will explain you later. Such all this concept, you can track this checkpoint